Hello, everybody. Yes, we are back again. Another live stream. And today we have a nice announcement. We will have next week an update for RP-Distort. An upgrade actually is going to be RP-Distort 2. And as you can see, it got a green color. And you might rediscover that we use the Disrupt Sphere. This little boy here again. And this is a very new addition to the RP-Distort 2. Okay, so I started with the Ambient Sound, which was Bluetooth, which I had also Bluetooth open. And what I did is the preset Choir Big Blue. I changed the curve here from the attack. So if I go to the original preset, you see it has this curve. I made it linear, so it's straight attack. Increased the attack sound, made the longer release, and then I was really enjoying it playing this chord. So nice sound, isn't it? Cool. Yeah, so that's what just the introduction sound. So to give the people a bit of time to log in. And yes, today about RP-Distort 2, I can show you already some cool things about it. And everybody in the chat room, hello. And somebody did try out Vocoder. Cool. Yeah, it's an amazing plugin, isn't it? You can do some very cool stuff. Of course, you need to know how a vocoder works, so that you need to have a carrier and not a carrier. You need the carrier is built in. You need to have a MIDI connection. That's what I wanted to say. You need to have a MIDI connection to it, and then you can have fun. So what is new in RP-Distort 2? Well, you see the user interface. We have different sizes. We have 100%, 150%, 200%. You see on the right-hand side, you see the known control menu, which we have on all products now. You can check for updates. And of course, it's not released yet. Next Tuesday, 26th of April, we are going to release it. And RP-Distort will be part of Explore 7. So people who have Explore 7 will get another plugin in their bundle. So what is cool? Well, I have this example. It's just a loop, a simple drum loop. And the bank is called Drum and Percussion presets. And I use here the Distortion Lo-Fi. And let's play it. When I bypass it, you hear it's a basic. This is the loop. Percussion with a bass drum, claps, and it's lo-fi. And down here you see the Disrupt Sphere, which you also might know from Dulcane. And with Dulcane, you can control then different delay parameters. Well, here we have the option to control everything you see up here. So you can say panning, which is selected here, but you also can pick another destination. Well, and what you can do is once you have distortion, you can move around this sphere. So you can go to the right and do this rhythm play just by your own. Okay, let's give a little kick. And you see it springs back. It has the spring back feature. So if I would go to spring back to the center in 1/4 note, so I can go here to the left, goes back. So you can simply record this. So if I would record this, but I need to record then the parameters. I need to record here, read and write the parameters, and let's do this. Oh, no, it doesn't jump back. Okay. Okay, this is the funny bug I have. Yeah, next week we're gonna release, and you see here, it has this strange bug. So I went to the automation. Okay, let's go back, original. Okay, that's not possible. So something went high wire here. Okay, so yeah, see, it's still having a small little bug. I have this one, okay. Now it keeps on running. He must not do this. I don't know why it keeps on running. Oh, now it's back. So now what I wanted to do, I changed here to 1/4 quarter beat, and then click here, and then it goes back in 1/4 note. So so by clicking on it, and I tried to record it, but that went high wire. So if I click here and this point, of course I can drag it at this point. So that allows you to do some very cool stuff, but you need to record this as a parameter. I did this, and then it went high wire. I have no idea why that happened. Remove. Okay. So let's try this again and see what happens. Okay, doesn't do fully as I wanted. You see, we have still a little bug, but this is good that I can notice this. This I can mention to John, that there's something not okay. Once you start the automation, then this whole fun part I just did doesn't work. But of course, we have still a few days to fix this. And let's go in the manager and click the other one, another preset. Okay, doesn't want to do that. So it has a weird thing going on. Huh. Okay. So let's try to solve this by simply pinging it again. It is also VST3. I think I used the VST3 version here. Oh no, is it no, that's the other one. Yeah, it's this one. I used the VST3 version. Maybe this is a VST3 issue. Let me see if I can take the RP-Distort, the regular VST 2.4, and try the same with this version. So I go here to the banks, and you can see in RP-Distort we have new banks. We have examples where we have some different examples. We have different diverse presets for various stuff. So there's an analog type chorus, a LFO to pan. We have vocal presets, which very cool stuff. We have drum and percussion, which I was currently in this part. Guitar presets, and these I will play a bit later on. But let's go back to this this preset here and try again. I put again here the 1/4. Okay, here it goes. And let's see if I still can record again this whole thing, and then we can check if this is it. Yeah, it's a VST issue. So yeah, now it works, and then I go back. I only need to do shut off the writing, and I only need to do the reading. Okay. Now the spring back doesn't work. That's the problem. So once you automate it, the spring back doesn't work. That's odd. Yeah, lucky enough, we have still a few days to fix this. And but I guess you get my point in how what we added to RP-Distort on that subject. So yeah, while I'm now having simply a drum loop, and we have the disrupt sphere, and I made a few. Let's see. Okay, that one is using the distortion. And there's of course the lazy mode, which is kind of LFO, where you can use the disrupt sphere and have it automated. So these are all kind of presets on board. This one I like, the mix filter, which is a mix between and dirty. Oh, here you see. This is the mix between wet and dry. So when I go fully wet, so there are different drums presets on board. You see even weird things, the drum whistle where the ring modulation is used. So we have several blocks in RP-Distort. Let me explain. You see here, this down here is the path, how you have the order. You have distortion, for instance, in this case, distortion, filter, compressor, and widen or chorus. So the distortion is constructed with a pre-EQ. So ahead of the distortion, you have an EQ. You can put it on, but there is also a distortion, which is post-EQ, which is after the distortion, which you can put on here. And then we have this feature. You see, I use the shift to change the bandwidth. So the shift is good for changing the band shift. But we still have the original RP EQ. So if you think, oh no, I want to have the original RP-Distort 1 EQ, that one was a post-distortion EQ, which is still available here. So that's also available in the post-distortion EQ. So pre-distortion EQ and post-distortion EQ. Well, then the distortion after the EQ goes to the gate. And that's an audio gate, of course, which you can reduce the noise that comes up when you have a lot of extreme noise going on. Can you do some special effect? Here you see that the gates open and closes. So if you click on the icon or on the enable, you can put it on. There's a high pass filter you can put on off, low pass filter, and we added there 12 dB, 24 dB, and a zero latency filter. So that is also here an option. You see the dials are automated. I shut down the lazy mode and then it goes back here. We have a compressor which you can put on off, and that has also now a logarithmic mode and a linear mode. This is the original. Well, most plugins of our have the linear compressor, but then there's also a logarithmically mode for the compressor. And you see it has a little VU meter. You can play around with the compressor. And then we have not only widen, but also a chorus. So widen was in RP-Distort 1, but we also now have chorus. Yeah, and then of course, there's another very cool stuff. So this up here, you can have in different orders, you see, and it jumps around also. You see only the EQ with the gate, these are one part. So the distortion with the gate behind it, that's one part. But you see this also in the algorithms, you can see how the order is. Now, with another thing which came inside, we have, of course, several distortion modes, but also wave shaper, and depends on the sound how cool it is. But down here, you see the wave shaper opens, and you can use wave shaper distortion. There's a lot of features here, and this is called a dual wave shaper. You can mix between number 1 and number 2 on the sound. Really depends on the type of sound, how it turns out, because it's distortion sometimes. Yeah, it's very heavy distorted. So that's also new. Then we have the audio follower, which is very cool. So if you would go here to, I take again this loop as an example. Let me see. Oh, I can go to the examples. Follower in action number 1. So, okay, sorry. Now you see the okay. So here you see the audio follower come in. I did a little boost. And it changed the distortion split, so this one, and the high frequency you see up here. So the input also changes the parameters. So it's not only distorted, but the input also changes the parameters. Or you can say, for instance, that you take another output, and the side input is, of course, with, for instance, in Cubase, you need to have this VST3 for the side input appearing. But in this case, it's the input, and yeah, you see, and what is also cool, of course, if you say, well, we have 3 destinations with the audio follower input, but you also can say disrupt. So does it change the disrupt sphere? And with the disrupt sphere, you have multiple destinations. So that's a nice combination. So follower in action 2 makes that the it changes the this disrupt sphere, which you see moving around in the background. So then it changes not only the high pass filter, but also low pass filter, the distortion split. So the audio follower is really a great addition to the RP-Distort 2. You can use the input, other outputs from taken after the filter, for instance, or after the compressor, or after the widen chorus, or even the output you can send back in as a source for the audio follower, or the general output, or in this case I use simply the input. So the input is not only distorted but also controls several parameters, and you have then here some controls how the envelope follower changes the sound, you know, if it has a long decay, and you see it appearing here. So you can make some very different sounds with that. Yeah, you cannot do also basic stuff, like this one is a panning. So here the disrupt is simply controlling the panning, or the disrupt, because it's more than only a distortion. You also can say, okay, disrupt, control the high pass filter. Okay, so see the high pass filter goes open. Or you say a wah-wah filter. Let me see. Okay. So now it controls the disrupt. If I press start on the first beat, then it's also resetting and starts from the center. So it's always on time. And you see here, lazy mode can be tempo based. It's synchronizes to 1 bar. So you see it, and you can say it all. Put it to the high pass filter. Or if you want a distortion, you can simply add here a distortion first, and change one of the first parameters. So the frequency so weird stuff is possible. I should save this one also. Save preset app, because it's nice. Disrupt down first, I call this one. So yeah, this is RP-Distort 2 for the ones which are later, will be released next Tuesday. We had a little bug with the automation, but that will be fixed. I can show John the live stream and say, okay, in the early start of the live stream, it happened that I recorded the Disrupt Sphere, and that did not work out for some reason. Yeah, I'm checking in the upper section here in the chat room. Hello, everybody. By the way, I hope you liked last week. We had, of course, the Nova Aurora song. Of course, I had a copy strike. A kind of weird copy strike is that if you have monetized your YouTube channel, that the revenue from this video will not go to your own channel, but to the composers, which is essentially also me. So it's a bit strange, but so I hope you could download. After I did the live stream, I also did some little changes to the Cubase song so that it was a little bit better, and also uploaded the presets that came along. Okay, so yeah, the RP-Distort, cool for synths, drums, you know, whatever, making special sounds. And of course, we have also guitar presets. So we have a bank manager now, and we have guitar presets by Jamal, yes. And even our graphic designer, which always makes our graphic design, Hans van Even, and you see here, initial HVE is Hans van Even, made also some presets for RP-Distort too, because he is originally a guitar player. So we have some very cool presets for guitar, and so if you are a guitar player, RP-Distort, I'm pretty sure you will enjoy it. And it's very cool that Jamal made some presets for us, but also some audio examples, because I don't play guitar, so I cannot make audio examples. So we are going to play now a few presets from RP-Distort played by Jamal and his guitar. And the presets you can find then also back. This is the preset breakup. So I'm going to play a few of them, and then you will hear how RP-Distort sounds on guitar. Okay, so what you hear is RP-Distort, but then recorded by Jamal. I keep so you see now RP-Distort, and I keep on playing them. Oh, why is it back again? I was having fights with these screens here. So this is another one. Yeah, this is all only RP-Distort 2, so there's no additional effects. But what he also did is making a demo with drum and bass, I think he calls it. Guitar only, and with drums and bass. So these are the sound examples using RP-Distort 2. And then with some extra breakup, nasal. Yeah, isn't that cool? So, yes, these are very short examples. I will put them behind each other. And you see then also here the presets, this guitar rectitude preset, and that's what you hear, this rectitude preset. He uses a rectify distortion, and that was then generates this out. So if you could play guitar out next to synthesizers, keyboard, whatever, just like Jamal, then you will have fun with RP-Distort. So yeah, then you can use it. Now he doesn't use a gate, but he uses the high pass filter, low pass filter, the compressor in this. The chorus he also uses a little bit, I think, or not. No, that one is not active. But yeah, so it's a you see the pre distortion EQ he uses, post distortion EQ he uses from RP-Distort 1. So yeah, so some high quality presets which we are used to from Jamal, and of course, yeah, great that he created also the nice short tweaks and examples using them. Somebody that's right. I have a guitar, but it doesn't mean that I can play it. Yeah, I know. I have a bass guitar here, which I used for sub-on bass to make some samples. My big idea was to create a big box with a string on it and sample this. And another thing I did discover, 1 second, but this is a sidetrack, 1 second. I will be gone for a second. Guys, can you see this one? This is a big, it's a big cardboard, very long. Okay, so I see it's so long. You know, it's very, very, very long. And I put a balloon on top of it. And you got a very nice sound, especially in the living room upstairs. I have a very low tone from it. So sometimes you have something, because we had used some carpet here in the studio, and that carpet came on this big tube. And you hear the bass. It's a nice bass to it. So that's something I need to sample very soon. And we put that in, of course, in, for instance, sub-on bass 2 sometime. And at the end of the year, most likely in Blue 3. So we always, I'm always busy, always hear sounds when I'm, yeah, in my life, everywhere I hear sounds. It's the length. No, I think it's about 3 meters. Yeah, and then you get some weird sounds. Okay, now back to RP-Distort. So great for these type of things, real guitar. And then it offers, of course, a nice filter behind it, the compressor, the chorus. You have the disrupt sphere you can use, make the disrupt sphere also are responding to the input. There's the back panel. See, that's the regular back panel. You can keyboard on off. Screen size you can have select here. And we have, of course, a warning which you can read. And yeah, next week, Tuesday, we hope to release it. We have still a few little bugs which also popped up now in the in this live stream. But it will be part of Explore 7, so you can download and Explore 7 again. Or what you could do is simply scroll down, download the Explore, the RP-Distort 2, and during install, use then your Explore 7 serial. So the upgrade, if you own RP-Distort already, the upgrade will be €19, $19. And we have, for people who purchase in February, March, and April, will of course get a free upgrade to RP-Distort 2. Let's see. Yeah, Bill Smith asked about the user color. Yeah, that's a difficult thing, because essentially, if you want to have a different color, you need to recreate all the images again, because this is really image based, and there are software which is totally software based in terms of dials, but then you don't see this hardware style of dials. Then you see only a circle, and then of course it's pretty easy to change the color of it, but that's a whole different concept of creating the software. Then you also can make the size free routable. From Roly they have this synthesizer, but then you have only one type of dial, which is essentially looks a little bit like what you see in Ableton. Well, what is still also different than in RP-Distort 2 is then, of course, we have a modulation matrix. If you have MIDI, or you can use the LFO. So let me see. I have somewhere that's an older one. Let me see the first presets. Unknown FX, no. LFO to pan. Yeah, that one uses the LFO. You see it here. It's MIDI time based. Let's put it on the drums. You hear it going left, right. And then you can use the manager, the disrupt sphere you can use for the LFO speed. It goes fast or slow. Slow left, right panning. So you also can use it for other stuff, as you can notice. So, but that's in the diverse bank. So the diverse presets have some other things. Unknown FX, that's a really weird thing. Lo-fi again. Then we have vocal presets, which are very interesting. You get very interesting sounds on your voice. You see vocal follower filter. Drum and percussion presets, I played a few of them. Then we have the guitar presets you heard from Jamal and from Hans. Favorites is, of course, your own folder, and introduction. Well, that's only having a few presets, but that's something for the demo version and for you to have an introduction into what you can find in RP-Distort. And then the last one is examples, but then you have 100 is introduction RP-Distort. This is the one from the RP-Distort 1. So these are the original RP-Distort presets, which are many on board, and they will still work, of course. Many things where you can break down the sound and distort it, of course. Vocal presets, yeah, maybe I should put it on my voice for a second. Give me a second. So I go here. Where's my input? Here's my input. There you see EQ. And here I can select. I take the VST. Here we have RP-Distort and with distortion. Now, hey, let's go to vocal preset.
lo-fi, and there's a follower. You see here, down here you can see this little change here. Maybe I should make it a little louder, so if I go here and boost the sound, and you see that the sound, my sound, changes to disrupt. Very nice. Very, and now we're going up to strange sound.
So this is, this is a nice one. The vocal age of distortion. Yeah, very distorting, isn't it? So this is a clean sound, and this is me going into RP-Distort. And then let's take another one. Vocal Edgy chorus. Well, this one has a chorus, but has a little bit speaker simulation. Maybe sometimes on a vocal that can be nice. But these are more FX sounds for your vocal, of course. And this one sounds very narrow. Oh, yeah. So kind of a lo-fi radio. This is very lo-fi radio. And this one also. Yeah, bad transmission. Roger, I cannot hear you. Yeah, and this one narrow follower is very stereo. This uses the chorus also. So let's keep it more nicer. Okay. So now I'm back again with the normal voice. And yeah, it's of course also used by hard style dance. We have of course raw kick. So if you have a kick to make a nasty kick. I think this one is already. So you see distortion kick, hardcore style things. So if I go to the drum percussion. This one is strange because I use the EQ, post EQ. Okay, I use the EQ and I connected the EQ to the disrupt. So you see here post EQ frequency, post EQ 3 frequency, and post EQ 4 frequency. Lo-fi. Of course, this is specialized work for these producers because they know far more how to create such a distorted sound for the bass. So that's also inside of it. And of course, we have the Rob Fabry bank, which also has some distortion, I think, and kick, dark crunch. Yeah, see? Very loud. Okay. So this is the bank manager, which is also inside. So if you create your own presets, you can organize it a little easier. Yeah, and essentially you see the top section is pretty much what you see on other plugins. So so what is different is that you see actually if you change the order that you really see things moving around. You see now it is first the wide and then the distortion, gate, compressor, high pass filter on the last. These are the path you have. Yeah, now of course here down here the sphere, the disrupt sphere, you know from Delsane. Only you have down here different type of destinations. Okay, I'm checking the chat room. Yeah, Bill Smith. Yeah, it's totally image based. All of our plugins are image based. If it is vector based, then it will be different story. Then you could have indeed very easily different colors, different sizes. And somebody asking, doing a VST RC600, Roland RC600. That doesn't say anything to me, I must say. Roland RC600. Let me type it. Roland RC600. Loop station. Ah, a kind of loop station, track station. Okay, that's yeah. No, not really. I'm not sure if that works with the. I think it's more like a host what you're creating then. But that now did not pop up. So we have then, of course, the RP-Distort very soon, next week, Tuesday, and oops, here it is. Different sizes of the screen, 3 sizes we have. Then we have then, of course, other stuff planned for this year, and we are working on Blue 3, but I cannot show it yet because what we have is more a layout, roughly layout, and then we add sounds, tests, and then finally we make the user interface. So yeah, that's a little bit about RP-Distort. If you have a question about it, let me know. Yeah, the release date of RP-Distort is next Tuesday, 26. We still have a few little bugs which appeared in the start of the live stream, and but that's the plan. And as mentioned, if you maybe purchased RP-Distort just recently in February, March, or now in April, you get the upgrade for free. The upgrade will be €19, $19. So $19, and the if you not own already RP-Distort, it will be $49. Okay. Is there an option to place distortion only on a specific user frequency range? Yeah, essentially you could do that if you use the pre-distortion EQ. So what you could do is essentially, if you only want to use one frequency, the best thing is that you first take the filter, and then with the high-pass filter, you really nail down one frequency. If I would have now this bass drum as an example, I use the high-pass filter and then the low-pass filter. Let's do this, and maybe 24 dB. And I really can pick one frequency only. So now I have one frequency only. There's not much left over. But that you can then distort, of course. Let me see if I have it. No, I have only this particular range. So here I can use a high pass and low pass filter combined, because then you filter the upper frequency and the lower frequency, and what's left over is this little notch. Or you simply can use, instead of the high pass and low pass filter, you can say I use the pre-distortion EQ and go here very big with the distortions. Okay, now, so here you can do some weird stuff and, yeah, do some alter frequency. So you have the pre-EQ filter, the pre-EQ ahead of the distortion filter you have, and I would say use then the high-pass filter and low-pass filter as well ahead of it. Okay. So that's Barking Fish Tunes asked this. So we have very many different options for this in the routing, in the pass down here. Okay. Okay, yeah, for the ones who missed it, we have very nice guitar presets. I will play a few of them. The collection what Jamal did. He has a medley where he uses, the presets are all inside of it, and he uses RP-Distort 2 for his guitar. And it's all only RP-Distort, what you hear. Yeah, so this is for guitar. I mean, it's totally different than if you would use another instrument. And in my case, I use the drums to alter the sounds. So let me see. There's another question about using the vocal, making those voice sounds that are used in launch deep house music. I don't know what that is. I need to hear that. The vocal presets which are inside are very messed up, of course, distorted, logically. So I'm not sure if they are also appearing in this type of music. Okay, let's take a synth sound. So we had this bass, but let's take something else. So take the bass sound. Oh, the bass drum is totally messed up. You hear that? It's one bass drum. It's totally messed up. Is that this one? Oh, it's a vocal lo-fi. Yeah, that's of course cool. You can... So using a vocal preset on the bass drum. Why not? Yeah, that is a compressor. Get some weird sounds. So this is the bass drum. Funny. So bass drum running through the vocal. Well, we have that's maybe something I need to explain. There is a general main mix which is inside the distortion, because there we could place it up here, but we kept it inside the distortion section because there you are editing, so that's close between the original sound and the distorted sound. So the bass drum, and then you got mix with the rest of RP-Distort. Yeah, nice. So vocal effects on the, and then you can change it. Yeah, so you also can check with the sound in another area. So okay, but let's go back to the bass. That's what I said. That's the last sound I'm gonna do. The very clean bass sound, which is sub on bass 2, and we're gonna throw on sub on bass 2 also distortion. Okay, where is sub on bass 2 here? There it is, and we take here. Oh, dirty. That's maybe over the top. So now I take the default. Then we simply try out things. We could use maybe the fold over. No. Yeah, a bit of fuzz is not bad. This is clean. And this is with a little bit of fuzz. Makes it a little bit dirty. Lo-fi, Octave. Overdrive. So that makes a lot of difference, isn't it? Depends on your music, and maybe you like this distorted sound. I need to go louder. And you can mix between the original and the overdrive. With some music, they use distortion really to give a little bit of edge and also to give a little bit more bite if the sound is too clean. So that's also an option you can do with RP-Distort 2. Okay, so in short, RP-Distort 2 next week, Tuesday, 26th of April. It has this feature here where you can see the changes of the order from the components. It has in the distortion, pre-distortion EQ, post-distortion EQ. The original post-distortion EQ is available. It has the high-pass filter and a low-pass filter with 12 dB, 24 dB, and a zero latency filter. It has a compressor with a new mode, which is the logarithmic mode next to the linear mode. It has next to the widen, which was originally an RP-Distort 2, now also a chorus, which you can select here. And you need to put it on this way. Then we have the Disrupt Sphere, which you know from Delsain, which you can address to different parameters. We have an audio follower, it's new inside of it. You can use the input or the side input, so also sidechain input options are there. There's a wave shaper, which you need, if you select over here, the wave shaper, you can have the dual wave shaper and add it here and do different modes, draw modes, so point draw you can do, or you can say line draw, all these kind of things. Depends really much on the sound, but this is very experimental. Erase draw, it's all kind of cool features in this wave shaper section. And then we have the modulation matrix, which has also the advanced mode. And the advanced mode means before, for instance, if you put on a modulation wheel, if you connect MIDI, you can say, okay, modulation wheel until the half. I don't want to have this change. So you put a lower threshold, and then if you go max open, that it suddenly changes the sound. This is the advanced mode from the modulation matrix, or the regular modulation matrix. And we have 4 LFOs, which you can trigger manually on the host by MIDI note. So it's all very sophisticated. And then we have the bank manager where you can organize stuff. So a lot of cool new stuff inside RP-Distort 2. And yeah, keep an eye on our newsletter next Tuesday. I think in the afternoon it will appear. So that for now. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. And yeah, keep an eye on the homepage. And I hope to see you back next week, Thursday, another live stream, 8 o'clock until 9 o'clock. And we catch up then again with some other news or just having fun creating sounds. Thanks for watching and enjoy creating music.